I am a man of honor, integrity, and promise. I pursue all righteousness. I love my family. I will not put my family in harm's way. There is nothing that will keep me from doing the right thing. I am an ambassador of hope and a man of discipline. I am a man worth following. I am a TYRO.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
For those of you who don't know what TYRO is, it's a Latin word which means apprentice, novice, someone learning something new, a warrior, or founding father. And that's what we are in the business of creating, men who become TYROs. And if you don't know who we are...
All right, so Ron and I actually did 15 years inside the system. When I say Ron and I, he actually was inside the system, but because he was, our whole family was. And through that journey, we learned a lot. We learned a lot about how to thrive, how to survive, how to become successful. And that's what we want to deliver to you, is the opportunity, the skills, and the information that can help you overcome every situation in the midst of the trial and also through the transition back to the other side of the gates.
You know, one of the greatest things that we were able to accomplish in our journey and that we want to share with you is how to become healthy. You know, in the midst of becoming healthy, how do you get there? What do you got to go through to get that? You know, Cathy and I, and we say it all the time, we don't have a perfect relationship, but what we do have is a permanent and healthy relationship. And that's what we want for you guys to have.
And it took a lot of practice. And so practice makes permanent. So we began to practice these skills while Ron was still in prison. And so today we're going to talk to you about fear. Because fear can really be paralyzing. And so we want to talk about some of the fears that Ron faced, some of the fears we face as a family, and how we overcame those things and actually turned that fear not to our enemy, but actually created into a friend that helped propel us to higher levels.
You know, I've been speaking to men all across the nation, and fear, when we talk about fear and how it grips a guy while he's incarcerated, and that's something that we don't talk about. You know, we put a false bravado in prison. You know, we don't want nobody to know that we're afraid, because if they think, somebody might think we're afraid, then we might become a marked target. Right. You know, and then there's a lot of predators in the penitentiary just looking for a moment if they can find a weak individual that they will try to take advantage of that person. And so we learn to put a mask on, and we learn to hold our shoulders up, and though really inside we're tripping and we're scared. And I believe every man who for the very first time ever went to the county jail, I don't care how big and tough you think you are, the unknown is always scary. Mm-hmm. You know, they put me on a bus. I was on my way to a penitentiary here in Ohio called Lucasville. And I don't know how many of you ever did time there, but I know you heard the same stories I heard in the county jail, and that's the place nobody wants to go. And I know when they put me on the bus, shackled to a guy, we have our arms together like this, and our ankles are shackled together, and we're in a bus. There's about 30 guys, and from the reception center to Lucasville, and it was a good 3-hour drive. At least it felt a long time, and nobody was talking, nobody was celebrating, nobody was excited about going to Lucasville. But I can tell you this: when they told me I was riding out of Lucasville, everybody was cheering. When they said, anybody want to ride out, everybody was saying, please let me go. And that's a whole different frame of mindset there. But on my way to Lucasville, and I'm examining and I'm looking at this, I can remember it like it was yesterday. Nobody was smiling, and you could just feel, and I know you guys know what this feels like when you walk into a room and you can feel the tension in the air. Mm-hmm. Well, you could feel the fear in this bus that was just gripping a hold of every man in there, because Lucasville was, you know, it was hell on earth.
It was the horror stories you'd heard.
Every horror story that we've heard happens in Lucasville.
So the fear of the unknown, the fear of the imagination of what might happen, of violence or being victimized. What are some other fears? As you began to walk, like for us, it was the fear of the unknown, fear of shunning, fear of shame, fear of rejection. So what are some of the other fears that you navigated through?
Well, you know, you mentioned the fear of not being accepted. Mm-hmm. You know, everybody in prison has a label.
Right.
You know, but the thing about it is, everybody's wearing prison blues. Mm-hmm. But even in prison, there's a hierarchy. You know, and that's what really sometimes blew my mind away. You know, so how do you fit in to a place you've never been? Mm-hmm. And how do you adapt? You know, so you learn quickly that, you know, and you know, you could, if you're a Hispanic, you might go to where the Hispanics are. If you're Latin America, or you're from whatever ethnicity you come from, you might try to find yourself in that group of people so you could find somewhere you could fit in.
So you can find safety.
Yeah, and you know what? That's it. Everybody in prison wants to be safe. You know?
So fear can cause us to respond or react in ways that we wouldn't normally respond or react in. So fear can paralyze us. It can cause us to run into danger instead of analyze, okay, what's really happening. I mean, fear is supposed to be an emotion that feeds us information, not dictate our actions.
You know what? I remember one of my greatest fears was you actually leaving me.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and I mean, I would get on the phone and really what it represented was not only my insecurity, but my immaturity. Mm-hmm. You know, my immaturity as a man, because every time that we would have a disagreement on the phone, I would quickly turn to this guy named divorce, mm-hmm. you know, because I'm thinking, this is it, this is the one, mm-hmm. you know, because...
And then that created contention between us, because now I'm super frustrated thinking, why is it every time we have a minor disagreement, now Ron wants to bring up the divorce word? What is that?
Well, you know,
and it was fear.
It was fear, just running and dictating my life. I mean, I know that I would get in a disagreement with you, and we would have a disagreement over the phone, and we only get to talk 10, 15 minutes. I'd hang up the phone, and I'd go back and lay down on my bunk, and I would replay this whole conversation we had for, you know, I'm going to call you next week, right? But so I would replay it every day. I would even play your part in my mind, how I'm going to have this conversation again with you on the phone. And then I would ask my bunkie, my cellmate, hey, man, what do you think about this? I'm asking him for advice. Mm-hmm. And then...
all motivated out of fear, which is completely ridiculous, because now see what the chaos that fear created in our relationship and created in our family. And so we had to come to a place where we just said, enough is enough. We're not going to be moved by fear. We are going to set a course for our life. And everything that is potential fear of that rejection, fear of isolation.
Well, my fear was from you is you rejecting me.
Right.
You know, that I was not the man that I was supposed to be for you and for our kids. So one of the greatest fears was, you know, how am I going to get my sons to respect me when I'm in here?
Right. So we're going to talk about what you can do to overcome and face those fears so that you can recover.
Playing catch, basketball, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. These are all normal things on the outside, but many times are missed in a visitation setting. TYRO Dads brings the same fun experience to the inside through Family Days. As a TYRO Dad, you have the opportunity to participate in this fantastic event. Family Day is designed to allow fathers and families to engage with each other through activities designed to stimulate communication, learning, and play. Family Days will not only be a highlight for you, but for your children as well. The Ridge Project has strategically developed Family Day as an opportunity to help you connect with your child throughout your separation and help both of you develop skills to continue building your relationship when you return home.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. Thanks for joining us today. Today we're talking about fear and how fear can really paralyze us and keep us from living up to our fullest potential.
The acronym that we use for fear is facing everything and recovering. And the first word in that acronym, facing. And so one of the remedies that we've been able to use in our own lives and to take us from a level of being free from that fear is to write everything down on paper. Is it real? Is it legit? Or is it just our imagination? So our suggestion to you today is write down things that you think are paralyzing you.
Or reasons why you're not doing something. So let's say that you're not going back to school. And so you have a list of reasons and you've decided, well, you know what? I can't do it because. Write down all of those reasons and then start crossing off the ones that are really fear-based, that are, well, I might not be able to do the work. It's been so long since I've been in school. All of those are motivated by fear. Those aren't real obstacles. A real obstacle would be they don't provide that class at my institution, or I don't have the funds to do it. Those are actual problems that need to be solved and find solutions, versus fear. Does that make sense?
You know, a lot of things that can grip somebody and paralyze them is the fear of somebody knowing I can't read. You know, I met a lot of men in prison who, for whatever reason, they just didn't learn the skill or have the skill to read at a certain level, or, you know, they maybe could read at first grade level, but try to excel in that. And so, but they didn't want nobody to know that they couldn't read. And so really another remedy when you face it is to be real about it. If it's real, you know,
transparent.
to be transparent. You know what? My fear is that somebody's going to find out I can't read. Well, how do you fix that?
And I know in prison, I know, Ron, when you were in prison, that we talked about being real and being transparent, and that there was fear around that. You know, letting your guard down and letting people really get to know you, because then you're vulnerable.
Well, you know, that is key, Cathy, what you just said, because even in prison, we have our little world that I got to protect because, you know, I didn't want nobody to know my name was Ron. Now, you could know my name, my last name in English is Tijerina, in Spanish it's Tijerina, and you might know that because it's written on my shirt, but I would never introduce myself as Ron Tijerina. It was always TJ, because that first name, that's all I had. And then another fear is, you know, if I show you my family, I'm letting you in another level of my life, and you got to earn that.
Right. So it's important to recognize how fear can hold us back, but it's also important to recognize that fear actually is a positive thing. It's an emotion that feeds us information so that we can make decisions not based on fear, but based on the information, and compile all the information and say, okay, now what do I need to do next? So you might feel fearful. Let's say if a dog is running at you growling, okay, well that fear, okay, then the information it's feeding me is that dog is really coming to attack me. I need to protect myself. The same thing. So if you really feel like, you know what, this isn't just fear driven, but there's a reason why I need to protect myself or back up, then that's what you do. But don't let fear dictate your actions. Just let it feed you information so that you can form a reasonable plan that helps you reach your goals.
You know, face everything and recover, not face everything and run.
That's right.
Right? And a lot of us growing up and before you went to prison, you know, there was something in us was causing us to be fearful of maintaining a job.
Or being successful.
Or being a husband.
Or fear of failure.
You know?
And so being able to really recognize those things and put things in motion to overcome those, and that sense of accomplishment
is huge.
Oh my gosh, it's huge.
It's huge. You know, and success is key to and it's a dream for everybody. You know, you might have a different definition than we have for success, but if you're getting closer to your dreams and to what you want to be, you know, and you have to overcome every fear. The fear of somebody laughing in your face when you tell them, when I get out of prison, I'm going to, and you fill in the blank, because I don't, you know, there's a thing, overcoming that. You know, I shared my dreams with a lot of guys in prison, and they would laugh at me. They would say, TJ, man, you're a dreamer. Nobody wants you. You ain't going to amount to nothing. And so I learned, and I had to protect my dreams, because there's what we call dream crushers. You know, because I was afraid if I share my dreams with these guys.
But what you didn't do, you didn't let them impose their fear on you and run away from them. You recognize, okay, there's danger in sharing that with those people. And so you decided, I'm not going to share with them. I'm going to logically make a plan and decide who it is I'm going to let in, and just let people that are going to help me in my journey into my plan.
And when you come to that place and you've overcome something, you know, your life will begin to change in that penitentiary or in that environment you're in. And so when it begins to change, you're going to start changing the people you associate yourself with.
Right.
You know, successful people hang around successful people. But if you walk around with a lame, what do you get? You get a limp. And so when you walk away from your regular peers or people you met and you decide to go a different course, you know, the peer pressure, they're going to come and laugh at you. They're going to say, who do you think you are? Oh, now that you're getting some higher learning and stuff like that, they're going to try to keep you where they're at. You know, once you come to a place in your life where you've overcome things and things that were holding you back, you've seen that you can overcome it, and that you can become victorious over things that you were so afraid of doing or even becoming, that it brings a revolutionized way of thinking, the freedom that comes with overcoming fears that were always just an imagination.
That have held you back and maybe generationally held your family back. And finding freedom to overcome fear will transform your life. It is vital that if you want to be successful, that you face your fears and you recover.
Completion of TYRO Dads is just the beginning of the opportunities available to you. As a TYRO Dad, you will be eligible to participate in workforce strengthening services to help prepare you for employment and open the doors to economic stability for you and your family. The Workforce Strengthening Program starts with job ethics training. Once completed, you may be eligible to receive training to acquire your commercial driver's license while still inside prison. If getting a CDL is not for you, then there is also a welding training program you may be eligible for. As more programs are being added, there really is something for almost everyone.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. Cathy and I have been talking about fear and ways to overcome them and really be real with what's gripping you and holding you back from success.
And I know when Ron made the decision to be free from fear, it actually set us free. He began to lead us and push us and motivate us and talk to us and cause us to also face our fears, us being me and Blake and Brandon, that had our own journey while Ron was in prison.
You know, and that was amazing to become Cathy's biggest cheerleader.
Yeah.
You know, and and this was an unconscious thing. I just walked into this. I didn't wake up.
Because
you know
when
what?
you were free, then you could lead us to freedom.
And I didn't do it intentionally. I was just cheering Cathy on, you know, and I go pay the bills, go buy a lawnmower, go do this, because these were things that I was doing prior to going to prison. And now all this responsibility rested with Cathy, but she didn't know how to navigate talking on how to get the car fixed, you know, how to talk to the mechanics, how to talk to whatever you're going to do that
you
the
can
man
go back to school, but this. And Ron would be, okay, those are all excuses and you're just afraid. Don't be afraid, Cathy.
You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And today, the success that my wife, that Cathy has, and I feel that I was a big part of that, even though I was in prison. Mm-hmm. I was able to help navigate and help, push Cathy to that level.
And our sons the same way. When they would say, but Dad, you don't understand. I can't do this. And he would say, why not? Well, because we don't have the money, or because you're not here, or because how am I possibly going to be able to do that? And he would say, you can do it.
Well, not only you can do it, but on a visit when my boys would come with things that are stopping them from success, I would say, listen, nobody is going through what you're going through, and you're living to tell about it. You can make this. You can do this. You can join the baseball team.
You have more courage than any other young man on that team. You are more courageous. You are stronger. You are braver than any other young man on that team.
Now, Dad,
because you put your chin up every day and walk forward.
Now, Dad, I mean, that's what you got to do. You got to become the CEO of your family, Chief Encouraging Officer.
Share that story. Share the
the story that Cathy's talking about. It's impacted me too. I understand now how vital and important my role as dad is. There's this dad, and it's Christmas time, and he decides he wants to go see everybody. It's New Year's Eve, and everybody's at the bars. And so he tells his boy, come on, boy, we're going to go say hi to everybody and wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. So, but now Dad don't drink, but he goes into the bar to see his buddies and stuff, and everybody, hey, thanks for coming in, man. Have a drink. No, I don't drink. He said, come on, man, have one drink. He said, all right. And so he gave in and he had a drink. We said, well, come on, boy, let's go to the next bar where my other buddies are at. So he walks into another bar, and you know what's going to happen. His buddies say, come on, man, it's New Year's Eve, man, have a drink. No, I don't drink. Man, have one drink, man. Well, he had a drink. Well, this went on a series of about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bars. In every bar, the same experience. Everybody saying, come on, have a drink. So about 10 drinks later, he turns to his son and he says, all right, boy, it's time to go home. And so they leave and they're walking home, and the dad turns back and it's amazing. He sees his son, and his son's walking like this. He's walking like he's, like he'd been drinking, right? And he said, boy, why are you walking like that? And the son, well, Dad, I'm just following in your footsteps. And you see, Dad, the influence you have over your son. If you are walking in fear, you are sending that type of atmosphere and influence into your children, your daughters, to be living in a state of fear.
And then what you're teaching them is not how to be overcomers, but you're teaching them learned helplessness, so that they're afraid to do anything on their own. They're relying on other people. They're looking to other people to lead them. And who knows where they're going to be led?
I'm telling you, Dad, you have a great opportunity. You're in the perfect place where you get to not only reinvent yourself, but you can become a man worth following. And that's what TYRO is all about. How to find that's inside you and pull it out and pour it into your kids, where they don't live in a state of fear because you're there, but they could be free because, you know what, even though my dad's in prison, my dad is a man of honor and he's full of courage and he's teaching me how to become a man or a woman of courage.
You don't even realize the depth of the influence that you have on your children and your family. When you are free and you begin to walk free, then, I love Nelson Mandela's quote, that then you give permission to people around you to be free.
That's right.
And so I'm paraphrasing his quote, but that's exactly what happened. And that's exactly what we see happening in thousands of families. As dad becomes free and begins to operate and move and live that freedom, then his kids are set free, his ladies are set free.
When you're set free, you create
his wife, when I say ladies, I mean like multiple men that each have one person that they're with.
Well, when you are set free, you create an environment for your family called safety, that they can be free to tell you anything, Dad, what they're going through, because your children are going to tell somebody what they're going through. And I want it to be me.
That's right.
I want my children to know that, look, we are free to talk. We are free to grow together because you know what, dads, your family is in this journey with you. And so we want to encourage you to face everything and recover.
TYRO Dads will help you to see who you really are on the inside by coming to terms with your past, present, and future. You will begin to move forward by using your time on the inside to transform yourself. We know you are not the only one serving time. Your family is too. Overcoming the issues that existed prior to and during incarceration are often more than many families can survive. TYRO Dads has a unique method of reaching and healing families based on Ron and Cathy Tijerina's own personal experience with incarceration. TYRO Dads works exclusively with incarcerated fathers who have minor children. The program lasts for 10 weeks and focuses on intensive character development. You'll be taught to take responsibility for your actions, to own it. You will be prepared to overcome the obstacles of your incarceration and transition back into your home and community, both successfully and permanently. Upon successful completion of this program, you will earn the title of TYRO, which means a warrior, someone learning something new. You'll be one of the honored, a man worth following.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Welcome back to TYRO TV. I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina. And today we've been talking about one of the largest obstacles you have before you, and that is fear. We talked about all of the things that fear feeds off of, and that's fear of isolation, fear of rejection, fear of losing your family.
Fear of loss, fear of success.
Fear of failure. And we also talked about how you can actually overcome fear, how to face everything and recover. And we also finally talked about what you need to do to ensure that you are leading your children into a place of freedom by overcoming your fears.
Gentlemen, it is imperative that you overcome your fear in the penitentiary. If you do not overcome your fears in this prison setting or this environment that you found yourself in, you will not be successful from that bridge from prison to society. It will become detrimental to your family. You will be on another path of destruction if you do not overcome those things that we qualify as fears in prison.
But if you are able to overcome those fears, then your road to success will be much easier because you'll be able to courageously face it and lead your family there. Facing your fears isn't easy, but it is so worth the effort. Now, we'd like to share with you a story of one of our TYROs and how he's been able to become successful.
Since I got involved with the Ridge Project, I've shared it with my parole officer, and I took in my certificate that I graduated from the TYRO's program, and he's actually has a different outlook on me now. He knows I'm involved in school now, and he's even actually waived some of my supervision fees. Actually, he's waived them all, and he's offering to submit paperwork to get me off parole next month. Early, 6 months early, so, and I think I'm going to end up getting off early, so he just has a whole different outlook on me now, so it greatly changed our relationship. He sees that I'm a man of my word and that I'm finishing things, and actually I referred the Ridge Project to him to send other guys there, because they're the only program that's doing stuff for guys like me, so it's good. The Ridge Project is actually the first one that is following through with what they told us. I'd recommend it because look what they're doing for me. I mean, 11 months ago, I was walking a prison yard. Now I'm enrolled in college and I'm learning a great new trade, welding, industrial welding, and it's going to open the doors for me to get a good job. And I mean, it was all because the Ridge Project has provided that opportunity for me.
If you think you have what it takes to be a TYRO or just want to know more, contact your local Ridge Project facilitator or your caseworker.
Well, thanks for watching TYRO TV. Again, I'm Ron Tijerina.
And I'm Cathy Tijerina.
Until next time, always remember, we are rooting for you.
I am a man of honor.
I am a man of integrity.
I am a man of faith. I am the antidote.
I am a man of discipline. I am a leader.
I am strong.
I am a man worth following.
I am a TYRO.